You're listening to the Curator Podcast, Season 2, Episode 22. A brief chat with Jordan Pundik from New Found Glory. So, Jordan, it's a total pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I feel like we've met before, though.
We may have met before. I'll take you back to how I first seen you guys in London on the Catalyst tour when you did that mad show when you supported yourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time was a huge fan, so maybe I met you then.
Maybe.
But that was a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, it was.
So how you doing, man? How you feeling? Yeah.
I'm good, man. We've just been cranking out this 20-year tour all year, all over for the most part. So I'm looking forward to a nice little break, but we finish this UK run and then we have to go straight into another US run till December. So yeah.
Jesus.
It's a lot, but then we'll, have a nice long break and then come back again. Like, I don't know when we're going to come back to UK, but we'll probably do another tour in the States, like in the summer.
Cool. Obviously, like you said, it's 20 years, man. Like,
yeah.
I just wonder, like, has it made you take stock of all the shit that you've done over the years as you've been playing these shows and playing these songs and all that?
It's definitely weird. I mean, yeah, it's really weird. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like we're still like a new band. Like every time a new record comes out or a new tour happens, like I feel like there are new people at the shows, and it just makes it feel like new all the time. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I don't feel like the time has gone by so fast, I feel. And all of a sudden now we're here in 2017, almost at the end of 2017, and it's been 20 years. It's really crazy.
Do you ever get the feeling like the imposter syndrome, like you're still waiting for somebody to figure out that you're not like as good as you think you are?
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out myself every day.
Yeah, that must be the thing, man. Like, if you're in a band, it's always a case of like trying to catch up with life.
Yeah.
Because you're away and kind of sequestered from everything, and it's like being frozen in time almost.
Yeah. It's, to an extent, I think like it just depends on the type of person you are. Like, I feel like I don't have, I don't really, the whole ego thing and the whole singer thing like is not me. I am just as happy taking a back seat and like playing bass, but I have a good sort of, I'm able to turn it off when I'm home, turn off band guy when I'm home. And even on tour too, like I don't feel like I do the singer guy thing.
That's really interesting, because I think a lot of singers kind of feel as though they've got to take the whole weight of the band on their shoulders, but I've always seen New Found Glory as being like, these are like the 4 or 5 guys, and like it's all of them as a unit,
Yeah.
I certainly get that impression when I talk to you as well. It's like, it's all for one. It's not like...
Yeah, that's how we've always been, ever since the beginning, so
I'm wondering, with it being the 20th anniversary, and also having a new album out at the same time, that must be kind of weird.
It's super weird because we haven't even toured off the new record yet.
Yeah.
And I think that the first tour for the new record is not going to be till probably June.
Jesus.
So May, June, something like that.
And those songs,
we're still figuring it out. Maybe it's May, June. I have no idea.
So those songs, you must have had those songs for a lot longer. Obviously, you have, because you wrote them and then you recorded them and the album came out. So by the time you actually get to tour on it, it'll be like, will not be a bit like, oh, can we not just write some new songs? Because we've had these ones for a while.
Yeah. I know, but it'll be fresh and exciting because we haven't been able to. We've only been doing like 1 or 2 on the new record, so it'll be cool to, have all the artwork for the stage at like the new record and new merchandise and all that kind of stuff. It's always fun. So,
how do you keep the older songs fresh, given that you've been playing a lot of them for pretty much your whole adult life?
Yeah. I think what makes it what keeps it fresh is the people at the shows. Like, it just depends on the crowd. So if the crowd's like really into it, then it makes me like have like a really good time. But if the crowd's super boring and just stands there, then I'm like, God, man, why am I playing this song again?
Have like your inspirations for like what constitutes a New Found Glory record, have they changed as time went on?
I think we've kind of had the same sort of mentality at going into recording records and writing. It's always been just writing what's real for us. Writing about myself, or Chad writes something for himself, or he writes it for somebody else, or I write it for somebody else, or it could be a song could be about Ian and like what he's going through, or a song could be about Ian's mom if that was the case, you know, and something was going on. So it's always like real things that are going on in our lives, you know.
But musically, I guess, is it always you always kind of drawn from the same palette, or do you kind of try and expand out a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, musically, it's always just, I feel that we try not to make the same record twice. Mm-hmm. We're always trying to keep it still New Found Glory, but sort of push it a little more than the last record. Whether it's trying out new guitar sounds or, you know, whatever that would be. And yeah, we just kind of, we have our ear to the ground, and we know what's going on with music, and we listen to a lot of bands, and, you know, we always try and like just be a little bit ahead of that.
I mean, you guys have had a huge influence on hundreds of bands.
Yeah,
like,
it's cool. It's cool.
You've played with like probably all the bigger ones anyway.
Yeah.
Like all the bands that go, fuck, you guys are the ones that made us start playing music. And I think about that, and I think that's really awesome. And then I think but you guys aren't much older than me, and so like it's like, I think it's like I feel as though you've been around for so long, but you're still so young.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we started when we were young. That's the thing that confuses people, I think. People are like, how are they? How? Why are they? And it's just because when we started the band, I was like 16. I think Chad was 14 or 15. So that's weird. It's weird to be starting a band at 15 years old.
And you'll still be here 20 years later as well. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, you obviously didn't think that was going to be the case when you started. You probably didn't think, oh man, 20 years time we'll still be playing.
I never thought it would be this long, you know. And hopefully it'll keep going, and you know we'll keep doing it until people stop coming to see us play. But if you ask Ian, our bass player, he wanted to be in a band since he was like 10 years old. So it's different for everybody.
Do you still remember the time, or do you remember the moment when you kind of realized that like this is actually what I'm going to do in my life?
Probably when I moved out of my parents' house, because when we got signed to a major label, I was still living with my parents. We recorded our self-titled record. It was on a major label, and I was still living at home. And I think after I moved out of my parents' house and I moved to California, that was when it really like, holy shit, like I can be in a band and like buy a house. That's crazy. That's awesome. So yeah.
You think bands could do that now?
I think if they put work in, they can, definitely.
Hard work is, I think, the key. I mean, a lot of bands just expect it to fall at their feet.
Yeah.
But bands like yourself are obviously.
That's the big problem in our scene. It's like there's a lot of new bands that come out, and a lot of them are really good, and a lot of them are not so good. But as long as like, and I'm just one guy, you know. I don't judge, but like I think that if you put the hard work in, and it also has to do with right place, right time. Also, like I mean, when we first came out, you know, we put a lot of work in touring in a van and playing in front of nobody, and then the early 2000s hit, and Blink-182 was like the biggest thing, you know, and Green Day also, and all those bands, you know, and so that kind of like helped pave the way for us. But nowadays, it's like you can be in a band and not be on a record label and still do really well. So it just depends on how much work you put into it.
I agree. I totally agree with that, because I see lots of bands, like obviously I'm quite involved in the local scene here, and I see lots of bands that are like, we'll do all this stuff, but then and throw money at stuff, and you're kind of like, well, yeah, you can do that if you want, but there's still no substitute for just hitting the road and getting in front of people's faces.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what it's really comes down to, is just like playing and playing and playing. I mean, and writing and having semi-decent songs, you know.
I mean, even then, sometimes you can now do so much shit in the studio that it's like, even the song, you might not even have to play it live.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, oh fuck, where was I? Yeah. What was it like to basically have grown up on the road together?
It's like growing up. It's like being constantly with your brother, like your little brother, that you want to beat up on all the time and like argue about petty stuff with. Like that's pretty much what it was like. But we've had a lot of fun too. Like, a lot of movies, a lot of movie theaters, a lot of shopping malls, and a lot of shitty food.
I can't imagine the shape.
Yeah. But now it's different now. I mean, we all live in separate places, and some of us have families and things like that. So when we get back together, it's like it's good to see each other, and be together for a little bit, and then we can kind of go our separate ways. And I don't feel upset when they don't text me when I'm home. You know what I mean? Like when it was like when we were younger, and it was always like, how come you didn't invite me to go with you or to go eat or whatever it was, like, yeah. So now it's
weird how people grow up and they change in that way, despite the fact that in a band you're kind of crushed together quite a lot of the time, and then when you stop playing for a bit, it just like life then happens.
Yeah.
And then it makes you appreciate that bond even more.
Totally, it definitely does. I mean, I think that the great things in my personal life, I don't think I would have if the band wasn't a thing. So, yeah. So
20 years must be taking stock of like all the good shit this band has not just provided for me career-wise, but also personally.
Yeah.
The ways that you've changed professionally, personally almost.
Definitely. I mean, I think, you make a lot of sacrifices also, being on tour constantly, and, it's definitely not all like awesome all the time. So it definitely shaped me as a person, growing up on tour and growing up like, I didn't go to college or anything like that, so, or university or whatever. So, yeah.
But you definitely went to the punk rock university, man. You're still fucking
punk
here.
rock university. Yeah.
Let's get a T-shirt made. Let's talk a little bit about Makes Me Sick, because I wasn't expecting it to sound the way it did, even though it does sound the way I also expected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. That's what we do to people. We like to mind fuck them.
Are you happy with the way the record turned out?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy the way it turned out. I'm glad that we still made it with like Newfound Glory, like we try to do, but we also, kind of added a few more little extra spice to it.
What would you say the extra spice was?
I think the songwriting in general, the sounds that we got on the record, adding a lot more keyboard parts, which is fun. Just taking stuff that influenced us and sort of putting our own spin on it,
You've always had the keyboard parts, man. That's one of the things I really like. That and the hardcore as well.
Yeah,
the two things that I really fucking dig.
We're just confused. I don't know. We just like because we all love 80s pop, but we all love heavy like records too, heavy stuff also, and that's just always how we've been. And even like growing up and when the band first started, we would always tour with hardcore bands and stuff like that. So I don't know. We were just influenced by the world around us.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
I like that's one of the reasons that I was attracted to you when that whole like Offspring, Blink-182, Green Day thing was happening, and then I was starting to get into hardcore, like Rise Against and stuff like that at the time, and then that's when I first heard Catalyst, and I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
that's almost a beatdown.
Yeah.
And a pop punk song, I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have felt quite organic when you're writing songs like that, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because we want every record, we try to imagine what it's going to be like live too. Mm-hmm. We never do things that on record that we can't do live, and so yeah, listening to like a Snapcase record and it has this like heavy mosh part, and we were just listening to a Snapcase up in the dressing room, nostalgia, and having that, and it's just influence,
Are you getting a lot of nostalgia on this tour when you're playing the songs and stuff?
Yes and no. I mean, it just depends on the crowd. It depends on the night. Depends on the people that are there. There's some nights where it's like, it's the amount of younger kids that are there is crazy. That like there's people think that it's all like older people coming to the shows, which there are. They're in the back hanging out, drinking beer, but they brought like their little sister, their kid sister to the show, and their kid sister's like in the front row singing "Hit or Miss" or "Failure's Not Flattering" or something, you know. And it's cool because it reminds me of, you know, it does bring me back to those times, you know, like we played what was it called, the Forum in London a couple days ago, and we have another show there coming up. And that's where we filmed this Disaster DVD when all the power went out and everything, during when Catalyst was out. So yeah, it reminds me of those times. It's cool.
That's definitely something that's quite unique to our generation, I think, as well. Is that we're now getting to the stage where we can actually bring our own kids and stuff to the shows, which my dad wouldn't have done that when I was growing up, you know. And my dad was into the Beatles and stuff, and you know, that they weren't around. But I mean, it's so mind blowing to think that you're seeing shit like that now, you know.
Yeah.
It must be really humbling to see 2 generations of that family.
Yeah, it is cool to see, and that's what keeps us relevant. I think it's like you know, we could be that band that it's only like just the old fans like to go see them, but luckily, you know, we've been a band that people enjoy seeing, and like they passed it on to the younger people. Like, I don't know, I don't want to say younger people because I'm young too, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. If you get any bands you're going to pass on to your kids?
What's that?
You get any bands you're going to pass on to your kids? Apart from New Found Glory.
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna like keep listening to stuff around the house, and like, you know, I have like a very, very big vinyl collection, and it's in the living room. And my kids, they're still like young. They're 6 and 4, and my 6-year-old's gonna be 7 in a couple weeks. But you know, we're always listening to music in the house, and it's all different styles of music. So I don't want to push anything on them. Like, I just want them to explore it on their own. But because they've been hearing it from me, I think it'll help influence what they like, you know, without pushing anything. Because I have found out about punk rock and hardcore and all that stuff through just older friends that I had. Because my parents listened to music here and there, but it was always like, you know, what was on the radio. So I had to figure it out for myself. Luckily, I like cool music. I think I like cool music, but I also like old blues records, and I like old country records, and I like pop stuff too. So, and electronic and whatever. Aphex Twin. I love Aphex Twin. So we'll see. I'm not gonna push anything on them.
Yeah. You speak a little bit about that there. I'm thinking about, you know, how older friends got you into hardcore and punk and all that. What was the moment for you when you decided, like, shit, this is like, I need to make this music?
I need to make this music? Probably, I went CD shopping with my uncle. It was my birthday, and I was probably 14 years old. And I bought, he gave me a couple records. He made me buy a few records that he liked. So it was Blue Oyster Cult, and I think like a T-Rex record on CD. And I bought both those CDs. And then I was digging through, and I saw this record of this band called No Effects, and the record was White Trash, 2 Hebes, and a Bean, and I thought that was really funny. So I saw the picture of them on the back, you know, like looking all crazy, jumping and stuff, and I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. And so I bought that and a Face to Face record.
Face to Face.
Yeah, and I put those records on, and that was kind of it for me.
Man,
and then my first punk rock show was a Green Day show. It was in a room like this size, and that set it off for me. I was like, if this guy can do it, like I can do it too.
It's just 3 chords of the truth, man. That's what they say.
Yeah, it's 500 cap room. It was insanity, just sweaty and all that stuff. So, and if you look at the back of the Dookie record, I think it's the back where the Ernie doll is like in the air. It's like a black and white photo, or kind of messed up photo. That was taken at that show.
Cool shit.
Yeah.
You're actually part of history twice.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Well, Jordan, it's been a total pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, or anything you want to ask me before we finish?
I don't know. I like your jacket.
Thank you.
And I like your
made it myself.
What is that? That patch?
That's Run the Jewels.
Oh, Run the Jewels. Yeah. Nice.
Got to run the jewels, man.
Yeah, you always got to run the jewels. No, man. Just thank you for making the time to talk, and thanks to everybody here in Glasgow for always coming and seeing us play and buying our records. Thank you.
I should say I really fucking like your Rick and Morty t-shirt as well. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. It's Rick on a Morty board.
That's definitely Rick and Morty. Oh, Jordan, thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
I think many people of my age, which is to say people probably in their, 20s and 30s, have a lot of good memories of New Found Glory, and the fact they still keep continuing to make music on a consistently good level, even after 20 years, I think is pretty remarkable. Jordan's a really nice guy, really down to earth, really humble. You do get a sense when you see New Found Glory live, when you see any of the band interviewed, that they are very much a unit, that there is no one overriding personality when it comes to who speaks for the band or how the band operate, and I definitely got a sense of that when I spoke to Jordan. It was a pleasure to speak to him because his band are one of the most important pop punk bands that have ever existed. There are so many bands out there now, the likes of, Rome and Neck Deep and so many other bands of that ilk who are heavily influenced by New Found Glory, and the fact that they managed to merge hardcore and pop punk in a kind of unique way has always been a really fascinating thing for me. So yeah, it was great to chat to him. Basically great to chat to someone who's a bit of a legend these days. So yeah, that was awesome. That's all for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you haven't done it already, I would really appreciate it if you could go on to Apple Podcasts and give me a rating and review. That helps this podcast get more popularity, and to be honest, I'd like more people to listen to it. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy with you guys. The fans that already have out there, you guys are all awesome. You mean the world to me. But you want more people to listen, don't you? If you were doing this, wouldn't you? So that'd be awesome. Also, if you haven't subscribed, if this is the first time you listen to it, please take a second to subscribe to this podcast. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button in whatever podcasting app that you're currently using. Until next time, bye-bye.